Alright, sup everyone, this is Mystik. I'm doing an audio commentary here, which I haven't done in quite some time. You might know me, you might not. Done some shoutcasting for the site, and I did some audios quite some time ago, so you probably won't remember those. Today I've got a good 2 vs 2 game for you, featuring myself in Final Play. We're playing Lance and i-am-lostman from Clan TMCs on Azeroth. Go ahead and open the replay up, pause the 1 minute mark. You're probably saying, why the 1 minute mark? People usually pause on like the 15-second. Well, I want to get right to the action, you know. Beginning is just build orders, and it's kind of boring. There's not much to talk about besides build orders, and you don't really need to talk about that unless it's a different special build order. But if it's just a regular build order, don't really need to talk about it. So go ahead, get it paused up, and we'll just get started once you're there. I'll be talking about my kind of normal strategy this game. It's not too normal though, it's just my adaptation on Orc for team. You'll see how I do it. I'll talk about why, what, where, when, you know, all that good stuff, and how it works in team. I may do some solo commentaries later, but I'm just going to do some team ones now since I have a few good games like this. I've played these guys quite a few times on East in Arranged Team, so I figured it'd be a good game, and it did turn out to be one. With the ELO matching system the way it is now, you usually pace people of at least similar skill, so it should be a close game, and it could not, depending on records and all that. Maybe they're on a different account, whatever, but yeah, they're not on their regular accounts this game. They made different ones, I guess, to practice on. Alright, you should be at the 1 minute mark now. If not, you're pretty slow and you need to hurry the hell up. So, okay, go ahead. And you should be ready to unpause about now. 3, 2, 1. Okay, go ahead and unpause. Should be at the 1 minute mark, just about. Maybe a few seconds off, maybe not. Now I want you to leave Fog of War on this game, because I'm just going to be talking about me and my ally Final's point of view. So leave the Fog of War on, put the replay vision at me, or you could have it at him either, it doesn't really matter. And you can see we're just getting our builds, starting my Farseer, my barracks, average run-of-the-mill stuff at the moment. Putting up his scout tower. Now what my strategy is that I was mentioning before is basically I go to about 40 food, you know, tech after 2 grunts, get about 35 food of grunts along with my Farseer, and then I usually end up getting my second hero. Depends, sometimes Shadowhunter, sometimes Tauren Chieftain, sometimes a Tavern hero, depends on if we're by the Tavern, what's going on, what could be more useful. And once I get to about 40, I'll make 2 burrows, put up my Spirit Lodge, usually for Witch Doctors, and then I'll start teching to tier 3 right away so I can get Tauren. What I want to do is get 2 totems and lots of Tauren quite fast. With a human, I prefer to creep early, since human's not going to harass that guy unless he gets Blizzard, which he does get later on in the game, but I like creeping first with water elements, wolves. Basically, I want to have healing ward and lots of Tauren, which I do get later in the game. It's very, very effective in team games. Heal wards heal the Tauren fast, and they're just great with anything healing wards. So if you ever get the drop, it's one of those items you really want, unless you already have Master Witch Doctors, and you're like, wow, that's better sell this, because you're really not going to need it if you already got Witch Doctors. You can see we're just creeping right now, nothing really unusual. Teching to tier 2, so Final's going too soon, he's going to get some riflemen. Basically what I want with this strat is I'll cover the ground and I'll cover the healing with Witch Doctors. And I usually get some Demolishers too for burning oil, because that just tears apart casters and unarmored especially. It's very good versus Night Elves, since most Night Elf units, except Archers, Mountain Giants, and Air, are unarmored. And it's just so effective, it'll even kill Archers really fast. And you can see right now I'm getting harassed by the Farseer. I just want to keep mine away from his wolves and chase him off, which I do. And, well, just saying, wow, this is going on, we're just killing his wolves. I'll probably talk about some different strategies. This is just one I do, but I do this the most often. You can do other strategies, just like 2 barracks grunts, demolishers, or you can go, if your ally's night elf with a priestess, you can go mascot hunters. Farseer is pretty much the common thing first, unless you're trying something else. Just gonna basically just keep creeping for now till we got the armies we want, or we're in a good spot to harass, attack. So you notice right here where he put the sentry in the middle, you always want to do that on Knollwood. Yeah. Also, you also don't want to creep the fountain too early or you'll get jacked. You always want to be careful creeping that fountain, because if you get jacked, it's going to hurt badly unless you run right away. You just want to get out really fast if you get jacked there. And you can see I just saw one of their units via the sentry, so we're going to head over there soon. We're going to get scouted by a wolf again. That's pretty smart. They just keep scouting. You usually know what they're going to do though in games like this, unless it's some kind of different strategy. Most of the time they do the same things. As you can see, I'm choosing Shadow Hunter this game. Good for the healing wave as well as wards. You could get Hex, but sometimes I get Hex to counter AoE if there's a human, but they got water elements, so I didn't want Hex this game. Wards are always good, especially if there's a night elf. They're just very good versus hunts, other unarmored units. There's if they go archers instead of hunts, I'd rather get a chieftain for wave, but you can see they didn't. Now, as you can see, we see him healing up there after we jacked him, killed a couple units. We're gonna go try to chase him off the center again. My Shadow Hunter's now out, and we are gonna chase him out. Then I wanted to creep it after. You can see I've got my 2 burrows here, just like the build I was talking about. I'll put my lounge up soon and start teching to tier 3. I want to get those Tauren fast. Tauren just dominate all ground. You can get enough of them, you can do very well. I've played some games before where I've just held off and beat 1 versus 2 for a while with just Tauren and casters. Only thing will really beat it is if they get like griffins, which would be a very good counter for this, if they get griffins, but they really didn't. In this case, which I like, my ally gets riflemen here in case they do get air. Also, you'd probably want spellbreakers and griffins to counter this. The orc gets demolishers to kill my witch doctors, as well as some Tauren of his own. You can see they got water element, and we want to back out right now because the Mountain King is here, and we do not want to get storm bolted. So we're gonna get out. We see the Mountain King, don't want to get storm bolted, so we're gonna get out. Final doesn't have his Mountain King yet, so we're just gonna get out. Blood Mage is also a viable option once you have such big battles like what happens at the end of the game. Flame Strike can just tear up too, as well as Blizzard. You can see my lodge is now going up. Just keep making grunts in a game like this, but if there's a night elf, I usually switch to demolishers when I start teching to tier 3. But you don't want to just like completely stop making grunts early because there's a night elf for demolishers, or you'll have no meat and it's just not going to work. Demolishers are good, but you don't want to risk anything just to get demolishers. You can see we're going to creep the merc camp now. And I'm still just making grunts. Witch doctors will be coming soon. Get the depth upgrade and then just get it 1 or 2, and then should be at Fortress then, and get master training. As you can see, finals pumping priest now with some rifles. Usually gets about 2 sorks first for the slow. You can see I got a shadow priest, those are always good, as well as a troll berserker. And just rifles and casters for now. Well, I'm just going straight to tier 3 for the meat. And I am going to get a few demolishers, since they do have human, and burning oil demolishers just go through human casters. It's always good to at least get 2 or 3 demolishers versus casters. It's pretty much like the orcs anti-caster, because you know, they don't have that good of this spell unless you want to get Spirit Walkers, but not many people do. They're underrated though. We'll see some Spirit Walkers later in the game from the other team. It's like, if they have a lot of Tauren and then you see Spirit Walkers for like crap, pretty much what I said. Because then they just keep reviving them, and it's like infinite Tauren. I remember one game like that where we pretty much faced infinite Tauren. It's just keep reviving them and reviving them. It's really hard to beat. Here we're just checking to see if they crept it, and I decided, since we're right by there, go creep the mercenary camp. I've got one totem going up now. I don't really have the resources for another, but I'll put one up as soon as I can. Defense usually have the resources for 2, but I did want some demolishers. What you don't want to do when you're going for Tauren is you don't want to stop making grunts and start saving up gold. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have 600, 700 gold, which some people do. You just want to keep pumping units. You can see right now finals expanding, which helped us a lot this game. Human player, always good to expand. We get a lot of gold from this, and it helps us get a bigger army. Always expand at a time like this, so later in the battle you'll be able to have an expansion, and then you can outproduce them. Could pretty much expand anywhere, but I think expanding between our 2 bases was the safest. But they could also find it easily, so perhaps expanding on the left side would have been maybe a better choice. But this was fine. And here we're going to see a wolf, so we know they're in the area, and yep, there they are. So I see the Kodo, and I know they'll want to eat my Tauren, so I do give like the demolishers for this, because big Kodos or unarmored demolishers kill them quite fast. And we see them, so we're not really ready to fight at this point. They're together, we're not. I'm going to back up to my base. He's going to try to come around from the side, but that didn't really work. At this point, he should TP, which he later does, so you can fight together. You'll have to fight together here. Sometimes it's good to have one flank from the side, but in this case, it's really not. You have to stay together, let your armies complement each other, and not have one player try to get selfish and try to fight them both until his ally gets there. And you see, here he comes. He didn't want to TP at first, but then they both just focus him while I try to... Oh, I'm just putting up some stasis. I'm going to put up serpent wards. You just want to get as much up as you can. Serpent ward, stasis, anything to help you with the battle. They use their scroll of these. You can see my serpent going off. There goes my totem. I'll just put up more after, which slows us down, because then my Tauren will be coming slower. I'm going to use the protection scroll, heal scroll, heal wave. But we want to have as much healing as possible in really big battles like this. They had Stomp, so they chose Chieftain over Shadowhunter. I just keep trying to get the wards up. You can see they're slowed armies on each side. They have one Tauren out now, and they're Kodos, which I want to take out. They keep... And here I lost my Shadowhunter. I was stunned, couldn't really get away. You can see the Mountain King there. And I'm just trying to keep my heroes alive and just keep fighting. Final lost his heroes, but I was able to keep my Farseer alive. You can see, via the stasis, we're still able to keep picking off units from the stun. And right now, I really wanted that Kodo, but what I did was pretty risky. I followed it back to his base. Wasn't sure if it had a devoured unit in or not, but I really wanted to pick it out. It was 255 gold for a Kodo. Really wanted to take it out. You can see I'm still following it, but it wasn't that good of an idea, because you can see the Mountain King there. He could bolt me, and if they had much left, I could have been hurt. But as you can see, All he bolts is the grunt, so I basically traded a 200 gold grunt for a 255 gold Kodo, so I was kind of happy with that trade. You can see they've got burning oil demolishers. Also, want to take out our casters just like we want to take out theirs. You can see rifle and breaker being rallied, and we just he's going to run that back. We wanted to take it out but couldn't. And right now we have to wait for his heroes to get back. We don't want to fight without heroes. Right now, all that's left is my Farseer. And via his expansion, he's going to give me some gold so I can just keep pumping Tauren. I've got one totem going up. Going to get another demolisher, some witch doctor. And here comes his Archmage, is just about to pop back. And you can see I put a sentry, see their sentry via my sentry. Want to have sentries in between their base as well as his other player's base, the human and the orc, so we see when they're coming, where they're going. Once you have Master Witch Doctors, you can pretty much put up sentries anywhere, and then you can see where they are and jack them quite easily, or just pick off units. Got my Shadowhunter back. Only hero we don't have now is the Mountain King. We could have started creeping, but I wanted to attack right away. Archmage is just going to buy some scrolls. Always, if you have an expansion extra gold, don't let it sit there. Up to build upgrades. Get upgrades, get scrolls, get anything. You don't want to have a bunch of gold just sitting around. You can see I've got my second totem going up. I just want to get lots and lots of Tauren to fight the ground. One of the counters, like I was saying earlier to this, would be Griffins. You can see most of the army would go down from Griffins. We don't have that many riflemen right now, so if they would have got Griffins, this would have been a harder game for us. And again, I put up a sentry here. See one of his sentries, take that out. Big battles like this you're going to be seeing soon. You just want to try to micro as much as you can. Got to know your hotkeys, keep using them. Put a sentry there, see him. And he uses a Tauren, one of illusion on the Tauren, but you probably should have gave it to the orc, and he used the one of illusion on his own Tauren, because you can kind of tell those aren't real Tauren. But in a battle like this, it's kind of hard to micro away from hitting the other Tauren. And we're going to use for protection or healing, heal wards. I'm trying to keep up heal wave, stasis, anything to help. You can see the blizzard going off here, just devastating the casters. And I'm getting my first Tauren now, which is pretty late because they took out my totem earlier. Just trying to keep chain lightning going, wolves, everything you can. It's kind of hard to do in a battle like this, to take out their heal wards as well as put down heal wards of your own. Basically, the two main differences between our armies right now, they got a Shadowhunter, and I got a Shadowhunter, they got a Chieftain with Stomp. And you can see right there, I took out their Archmage with Chain Lightning, which was quite good for us. But we still have to get out, because, look at it, they have too much right now. And the casters are being killed. But like I was saying, the two main differences between our armies is the fact that I got a Shadowhunter with Wave and Wards, and they got a Chieftain, and they got Water Element, while Final retrained the Blizzard, which really helped. And they're going to chase, but we're just going to back off right now. You can see he's going to invis that priest. It was pretty low, but he lost a sword because of it, so it might not have been that great of an idea. But as you can see, we're backing out, going to go heal up, but we've got the expansion, so it's quicker, easier for us to rebuild right now. We get pulverized. You should get pulverized after about first, second Tauren. You don't want to get it right away. You want to have at least one Tauren first, and then just keep pumping Tauren, which we really need right now since they've got plenty of Tauren too. You can see Final's getting a few Knights now. Anything to help fight out their Tauren, since they're kind of outnumbering my Tauren right now. Again, I'm going to put up another sentry ward in case they come to hit me. We'll see it. Be ready. Right now we're just waiting a little, and he's going to go pick up a Naga, which will help us pick off units. And I probably won't do games this long all the time, and not this strat. I'll do different strats. I do play all the races, so you may see commentaries from me with different races. Undead, Night Elf I play. Although my Human's my weakest race, so I probably won't be doing commentaries on Human. I might do a few on solo games, but I haven't played any decent solo games in a while. It's either been really close or I lose from some stupid mistake. And with this free time between attacks, we're gonna creep a little. I'm gonna creep this golem because they can drop good items. They used to drop really good items in Arena Chaos, but they did tone it down a little. But I get a Scroll of Restoration here, which proved quite useful in the final battle. Tome of Intelligence. And Final's gonna creep up some as well. He goes over there to look for creeps, but already crept. As we can see via my sentry, they're just waiting around or creeping up as well. You can see their Tauren have O2 upgrades, so that can hurt. Their Tauren's gonna have a lot more armor than mine. I definitely advise upgrading armor first on Tauren. You see, I'm getting reinforced armor for my burrows in case they do come and hit me. And I do have extra gold wood right now. I'm up to 80 out of 80. You can see he's going to creep a golem also, try to get a good item. Anything right now, since our armies is so even. Anything to help. And he gets a potion of divinity. Not quite as good as the Scroll of Restore, but won't be too bad. You can see right now they're getting ready. Now they've got Spirit Walkers, which isn't too good for us, but we've got some magic damage, so we can take them out. With those Spirit Walkers, they could make their army really hard to kill at Spirit Link, which we want to try to avoid. But we've got Spellbreakers, so if they do Spirit Link, we can just steal it. So he probably won't be using Spirit Link much, which he doesn't. Mostly, he just gets them to revive his Tauren. And with all the micro you have to do in huge battles like this, that's pretty much all you're going to be doing. You could try to use Disenchant, but that's what the Spellbreakers, Priests are for. And we're about to meet up, so this is going to be a huge battle. I'm saying right now this will be close, and my typing kind of sucks right now. I'm just focusing on getting ready. Going to buy a Protection Scroll, Invulnerability. And I want to get a healing first before I see them coming. I want to get a healing scroll real quick. And here they come. This is going to be it. You'll probably like this battle. It's really big and exciting. And right now I'm basically just trying to keep up heal wards, heal wave, stasis, everything to help. And you can see the chieftains trying to stomp, but I would much rather prefer wave right now. Both armies interfired. You can see I'm getting stasis, they're getting stasis. That's what happens when you have so many Witch Doctors here. Just huge fight. Tauren versus Tauren, Tauren versus Knights, Breakers, Casters, but watch the Blizzard just go through the Riflemen and the Witch Doctors. Good positioning. You want to position the Blizzard, not so much where it's on the Tauren, but where it's on the Walkers, as well as the Witch Doctors and Demolishers. You can see they keep reviving more Tauren with the Spirit Walkers, but I just keep putting up stasis and keep killing them, keep using heal wave, and I did pop that Scroll of Restore not long ago, which also helped. And right here I take down the Farseer. We're pretty much dominating right now. We just out-microed that and had about the same food army, so you can see our heroes out-leveled theirs. And they're still reviving Tauren, and you can see I'm like fucking Walker, because he revives so many Tauren, and here I'm just going to keep taking out Walkers with Chain Lightning, and I'm going to try to chase down that Tauren, but the game's pretty much over at this point. You can see I'm still at 77 out of 90. Didn't lose much, and I just rebuilt really fast, since he gave me some gold via his expansion. And while that was going on, you know, I want to keep spending gold, I did get some upgrades for my Tauren, so you can see now they're 01. You're like, 01? He's 02. Well, thing is, I'd rather have more units than upgrades. I don't think upgrades are going to help much if you don't have the units for them to go on. So, in that game you can see we got the higher restores, higher heroes, and I got the most unit kills with all those Tauren, demos, witch docks. Usually if I get to 80 out of 80 like that, and as well as getting upgrades, I'll start getting Spirit Walker training as well, so I'll be able to revive all those Tauren. And that's pretty much it for the commentary. I hope you guys liked it. Try to keep it serious, give some tips, and that's, like I just said, that's pretty much it. I hope it went well, and I probably will do some more, hopefully better, maybe solo, and I'll keep it on some different strats. This is just one of my main strats, probably most used in team games. Tauren and Witch Doctors, as well as Demolishers, are just so useful in team games. Tauren are like the best melee. And that's it, so hope you guys liked the commentary once again, and later. Thanks for listening.